Boy, let me tell you something about AzuManga Daioh. AzuManga Daioh is funnier than it has any right to be, and it's funny in its simplicity. Four koma manga, basically meaning you have four panels to set up a joke. You have the setup, you have the build up, you have the payoff, and you have the preceding action, the laugh moment, the laugh track moment, basically. And when I tell you that Ka Yohiko Azuma, the Azuma being, Azu as in Azumanga, published in Dengeki Daioh, so Azumanga Daioh, keep up, people. When I tell you that Azuma manages to craft some of the most hilarious moments possible in the span of such a short amount of time. Because with each character he introduces, he helps to build their character, ranging from the most eccentric in their actions to the most subdued, so that when they do take action, it just completely derails everything because you're not ready for it. He sets up these characters so strongly that you know these characters as if they were your best friends themselves. This series centers around Chihiro Mihama, a child prodigy who has skipped multiple grades, super intelligent when it comes to schoolwork, but so naive that the eccentricities of her classmates, she doesn't register them as wrong initially. Now, don't get me wrong, she does kind of call them out on some of their bullshit from time to time, but the funny thing about Chihiro actually just comes from how small she is and a lot of the shenanigans that her other classmates get into that sometimes revolve around her. There's also this weird running gag about her pigtails being like wings or being detachable or her having some weird control over them. It's the most surreal thing possible. And I always see stuff like this in other manga and anime series like Yuri Yuri or Nichijou. Just cute girls doing cute things, but also being complete and total idiots. And when I say idiots, I think of the likes of Osaka. That's not her real name, but she's from Osaka, so that's what people call her. And a constant joke about Osaka is that people from their town tend to be a little bit loud and over exuberant. No. Osaka is just so simple. She is a simple existence who just does not have energy in the slightest. She's a space cadet. Absent-minded, always daydreaming. So many things come purely from her weird imagination. And the just dumb things she tends to do. She'll do things without even thinking about it. And it's just like, Asaka, you dumbass, no! Like, she's so adorably dumb. I love Asaka. And then Tomo. Oh my god. She's dumb in the complete other direction. She's a slacker. She's not good in any form of sports. Scholastically, I don't know how she got into high school, period. Does things purely on the spur of the moment. You trying to get into a house, she will throw the keys. You find the keys and try to get into the house again, she will throw them again. Just for the fuck of it. Like, I'd say how has she not gotten her ass kicked, but she does get her ass kicked several times by the straight man of the series, Yomi, who tends to be the only serious person amongst her classmates, and you constantly wonder how she puts up with all the shenanigans of most of them. But she has her own quirks too. She's smart, she's athletic, but she's constantly stressing over her weight, thinking she needs to become thinner and stuff like that, which, dietary problems are a very serious issue. But at the same time, you gotta have a few chinks in the armor of a character who seems so perfect. Because she rightly uppercuts Tomo whenever she's getting way too out of line. And I'm like, thank you, Yomi. Divine punishment. And honestly, Yomi seems to be the only normal person amongst her group of friends, just simply because of the fact that she's not a dumbass. And one of my favorite characters, Sakaki. We don't know her last name, but you will always recognize her by how tall she is and all of her hair. She's seen as cool and aloof and mysterious, but no, she's actually just kind of shy. She's not really a speaker, she's an introvert. But she's so athletic and good at sports, it attracts people towards her. But despite the fact that she loves cute or flowery things and stuff of that nature, people are so like, oh, she has this masculine aura around her, and she just can't catch a break. She loves pets like cats and stuff like this, but the cats are always attacking her, and it's just like, oh no, she needs to let her pet the cat, let her pet the goddamn cat. I always feel so bad for Sakaki because it's just she just needs a break. This young girl with the heart of a smaller girl just wishes she could be more like Chihiro. And honestly, it's vice versa for the two of them. And it's so sad, but she's such a sweet and lovable character. You also have Kagura, who is kind of hit or miss with me. She's very much a tomboy character, and she has this weird one-sided rivalry with Sakaki because of how athletic Sakaki is. But Sakaki's just naturally athletic, whereas Kagura she's trained. She does physical workouts and all that. But like Tomo, she's very impulsive and stuff like that. And, they make up, Tomo, Osaka, and Kagura make up the idiots. The idiot squad, basically, the blockheads. And they're always just failing at one test after another, and it's just like, again, how they managed to graduate at the end of this series is so far beyond me. And another of my favorite characters is Kaori, who is such a lesbian. Although, funny enough, Osaka, at a release of a special kind of thing that came out a few years later, where Osaka outright asked Kaori if she was a lesbian, Kaori's just like, no, I'd like Kaori, I'd like Sakaki even if she were male. It's just, she's a Sakaki sexual, basically. And she's also often referred to as Kaorin, which I'm like, but you've made her name longer. That's not a nickname at this point. Interestingly enough, she actually gets a lot more time to shine in the anime rather than the manga. And it's kind of funny because the manga ended about a few episodes into when the anime first started debuting. And it was almost like, I don't know if it was a retroactive thing that the mangaka wanted, or it was just that people towards the end of the manga had just fallen so in love with Kaorin that they just wanted more of her. Because she's a lot more involved in a lot of events that happened in the manga that also took place in the anime that she just wasn't included in. But honestly, I think it's for the best. There's a weird kind of rounding out of the squad that she really gives to the rest of the crew. And then you get to the teachers. There's only 3 teachers who have any kind of prominence in the series, and honestly, they're the only 3 other characters that even matter in the series. The first is Yukari, and my god, she is essentially what Tomo will grow up to be. She is boisterous, loudmouthed, just mean-spirited in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to just seeming like the superior teacher to her rival Kimura. And And man, she's just such a far out teacher. She's not dumb, but at the same time, she's lacking a few brain cells. And she's just the jaded kind of teacher who tends to joke around with her students a lot and have a lot of fun with them, despite the fact that she's doing it in such a mean spirited way. Like, Yukari really is just my favorite teacher just because of the fact that she has her own version of the straight man, which is Minamo Kurosawa, or nicknamed Nyamo. And she's just such a nice person. She is exactly what you would expect a teacher to be. Nice, controlled, caring, and she's just such a positive influence on the girls that Yukari will go out of her way to try to one-up Nyamo, and it'll always backfire in the most hilarious and out there ways. But I will tell you, the most hilarious moment in the series is when she gets drunk. Because they're hanging out with all of the kids, because, of course, it's the two teachers and the kids who are all together at Chihio's summer home because Chihio's family got money like that, and she gets drunk by accident. I think it's by accident. I don't remember if it was by accident or not, but she gets drunk and she just starts going on this tirade about all these sexual exploits when she was younger, and the girls the next morning when Yama wakes up, they've just got this newfound sense of respect for her, like she is many times their senior, and is the most hilarious thing possible. And then the last teacher is Mr. Kimura. He's a pedophile. Let's not make any qualms or beat around the bush about that. He is an outright pedophile who's after the high school girls. He's openly admitted he became a teacher to chase high school girls. And in fact, oddly enough, it's Kaorin who he specifically tends to go after. I don't know what it is about her, but he's so just obsessed with her. And of course Kaorin rejects it, but it's hilariously terrible. And it's not even like he does anything outright malicious, or even, outright manages to do anything to them that's terrible. It's just the way he acts that's so terrible. But oddly enough, in his normal everyday life, he's an incredibly wonderful person. He recycles, he donates to charities, he goes to religious sermons and stuff like that. He has a beautiful wife and daughter, and yet, despite all that, despite the person that he is, his wife seems to love him and thinks he's awesome. His daughter really looks up to him. It makes no sense, and that's the hilarity behind it. It is the wildest thing possible, and I love it. This series it's built on its characters. It goes from first year of high school, I think it was the first year, or maybe it started off with the second year, I think it was. And the characters are wonderful, really. And for a series that the anime was only so long, the manga was only 4 volumes. That was it, 4 volumes. And then a special that came out years later, about a decade later, because this started in 1999 and then it ended in 2002. I didn't see this series until about 2005, around when it started coming to the States and was dubbed and stuff. And I instantly fell in love with it. It was so fun and quirky and weird and sweet in certain sections, almost surreal to a certain degree. This series really was a masterstroke, and I will continue to applaud Koyohiki Azuma for his work until my dying breath, because it seems like he took everything he developed when it came to AzuManga Daioh and put it into his next work, Yotsuba, who has been running since 2003. Like, this series has been going on for almost 20 years at this point, and it has no signs of stopping. And although his Yotsuba series has kind of come to a bit of a crawl, he doesn't work on it as frequently as he did when he started. I'm sure when it does reach its end, it will be beloved just as much as AzuManga Daioh, because I'm gonna be real with you, Azuma is a wonderful artist. He's only continued to grow and get better over time. I will always be shocked that Yotsuba never got an anime adaptation, but honestly, I might not need it. It's just a sweet, simple series about a sweet, simple girl, and that's just the way Azuma usually does it. Sweet stories about sweet, simple girls. But don't just listen to me. Do you remember AzuManga Daioh? What was your favorite parts of the series? Who was your favorite character? What was the funniest moment to you that truly made you laugh? I can't wait to hear from you. And if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, bell, all that good stuff. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.